Good morning, Anne. I wasn't sure what time to start this because sunrise is at 5:40 and usually you get that amazing sky for about 20 minutes before sunrise. Anyway, hi Tina, hi Tracy. So we've got just under 4 minutes before we start. Sunrise is at 5:40 and it's currently not quite 5:15. So I was hoping that we we're going to get a beautiful pre-dawn, but I think we've got moody instead. Anyway, we'll take it as it comes. I didn't promise a sunrise, I said break of day. So it's going to be a little bit of a dark walk for the first maybe 5 minutes or so. I can hear currawongs. Hi Mari. Hillary, it's what's the date today? The 6th. I think it's the 6th of December, which means we are 6 days into summer. But we're at elevation here, so about 90 kilometres west of Sydney and at about 950, I'd say, metres of elevation. We are in a cooler climate. Let's start walking. I'm trying to find things for this camera to focus on because it looks like it's having a little bit of trouble because it's misty. Hi Tony, hi Jill, hi Tina, hi Catherine. Is a train going by? All right, let's start walking. Then I'll turn the camera around in, let me see, 30 seconds. So what we're going to do is we'll walk towards the jetty at the far end of the lake. And as we start coming back, the light behind me, the sky behind me to the east, should start to brighten. And that's where we should start to see some lovely reflections on the lake. But I can see across the water there's definitely a mist rising. Can you see that? I just heard a couple of ducks landing on the water. Okay, let's turn this around. Good morning, everybody. So, is there anyone here who I haven't met before? My name's Lynn, and we're meeting today at Wentworth Falls Lake, which is in the Blue Mountains to the west of Sydney. And before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we meet today on the traditional lands of the Darug and Gundungurra people, and I'd like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So, good morning, Shannon. Well, welcome, and hopefully this is a little bit of a respite, if you like, from all the excitement that's going on right now on Hago with the amazing Christmas markets and lights and sounds and colours and building anticipation for Christmas. So I'm here today to offer you something a little different to everything else that's going on the platform right now. So, of course, as I mentioned a little earlier, we are actually in summer, and I just wanted to sort of orientate you a little on where we're located. So this lake was created back in the 1800s to be a site of water for the steam trains. You saw this train going through a few moments ago, and this was the water supply for the steam trains as they passed through the mountains. In order to do that, they dammed a small creek, and which was a bit devastating for the local Indigenous people, as this was a meeting place. It was a place where they would find food and fresh water. So it was rather devastating on their lifestyle back at the time. I noticed they've done something new here. Looks like they've concreted and put in some sandstone blocks. What you're seeing through the camera is a lot lighter than what I'm seeing actually in real life. It's a lot darker. So the camera is casting some light on it. Let me see who's joined. Juan Carlos, Elaine, and Patty, welcome. And this is just a lovely time to hear birdsong. Okay, let's keep walking. Looks like rather than clearing, the sky's sort of clouded over a little bit. Let's see what we've got up there. So we may not get a gorgeous sunrise as such, but we'll get that lovely, it's very still on the water. We'll get some beautiful reflections. And I'll talk to you about the sculptures along the path as we come back along and as it gets lighter. Good morning, Patty from British Columbia in Canada. So is it starting to get cold in your part of the world? Walking past the children's playground here. Well, we definitely got still water, which is lovely, and we've got this very moody mist lifting off the water, which is making it very atmospheric. So Wentworth Falls is one of the suburbs named after the three European explorers. Blaxland, Wentworth and Lawson were the first to forge a path across the Blue Mountains and open up the west, which allowed agriculture to grow and flourish. And what we're looking at here right now, I'll just let you take a postcard of this information board if you'd like to. So we're talking about the swamp and how it's a giant filtration system, which actually keeps the water very clean. So across the way, and we'll see it better as it gets lighter and as the mist lifts, but that over there is a hanging swamp. And apparently that hillside, where there's no trees growing and it's all low vegetation, apparently that holds more water than the lake itself. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Coralie. Did you hear that lovely call of the magpie? I just thought I'd pause and let you listen to the birds for a moment. There's a lot of bird activity here this morning. Most of them, I can't tell you what they are. I'm not even sure. Thanks for the follow, Elaine. And if there's anyone else who's not already following me and like to see more content from the Blue Mountains or even Sydney itself, I'll be heading down to Sydney to the northern outskirts later today to the Hawkesbury River. And we're going to jump on a small ferry, which is a commuter ferry, to an island that's only accessible by boat. But people live on that island. And the way the day's weather is shaping up, it should be a lovely ferry ride. Oh, I wish I could tell you what that one was. So we're walking through Australian bush, but they've created a path for accessibility, which is great. And aside from these steps here, it's mostly accessible all the way around the lake. And it's a very pleasant walk. Thanks, Elaine. And good morning, Virginia. Okay, so I know that the signal does dip to about 2 bars around this side of the lake. Hopefully that's not affecting the image or the sound. Hi, Terry. Trying to walk quietly. It's a bit difficult on this surface. Now, there's another train going through, I can hear. Hi, Carol. Hi, Sarah. So here we go. We're looking at the hanging swamp now. As I said, apparently this hillside holds more water than the actual lake itself. We have a lot of hanging swamps in the Blue Mountains. I'm not sure what to compare it to. Hanging as in it's up in the mountains, it's up on the hills, and I guess that's similar to areas in Ireland where you have peat moss. That could be a comparable environment. I thought I saw the plop after a fish jumps, so that's why I'm pausing. Oh, that would be interesting, Lynn. I wonder if it would work. Elaine, that's a really good question. In all my time bushwalking through the Blue Mountains, and I do only easy walks now, I actually can't say that I've walked through an area like this. I think it would be difficult. I think it would be a difficult walk. You would sink as you walk. It'd be quite wet. No, actually, it's well spotted. This, in fact, was indeed a sacred space for the Indigenous people and still is. It's just that they don't have the same level of use and accessibility to it as they did before European settlement. We'll spend a few more moments here before I backtrack and we head back around the other side of the lake. And I'm keeping an eye on the sky. So it's currently not quite 5:30 a.m. Sunrise is at 5:40. This is what the sky's doing in the east right now. I can't tell you what their ceremonies are about. A lot of what happens in Indigenous culture is kept within their own, like they have secret women's places and secret men's places, and they conduct Indigenous activity that's only known to them. In fact, there's another location in Wentworth Falls that's now completely inaccessible, which is a real shame, which was a secret women's location. But part of the road to access that site passes through private land. And when the land changed ownership, the new owners decided to enforce their right of declining access. And there's ongoing discussions with national parks to try and see if there's a way that we can have, as I say, we, it means the general public, but really, ideally for the women who use that location. I believe it was a birthing place before Indigenous occupation. Good morning, Elle. Good morning, Dee. And good morning, Elise. All right. I'm going to give you a few minutes to take some lovely postcards here before we head back along the track and around the other side of the lake. I'm hearing frogs now. Does anyone have a frog app? Alrighty. So, yep, I definitely seen fish jumping. Well, seeing the plops. Oh, did you see that one? That was a little fish jumping. If I stay here a moment longer, we might see another one. I find that whenever I wait for fish to jump, they never do. One over to my right. Typical, isn't it? Is this a nice postcard? Let me zoom in on this with the pole. Typical. They're all jumping over to my right now. Alrighty, so let's head back along the path. There's a life-saving ring. Isn't it beautiful, Catherine? Let me just look over this way. You wouldn't think that it's actually, in fact, a residential area between a highway and what we colloquially call a rat run. It's the alternative to the highway. There's a house up there. Just one last shot back in this direction. Okay, and there was a lot of rain last night. The handrail I'm holding here, very wet. The vegetation all around here is quite wet. And I think is that what I think it is? I was just looking to see, I think that might be a spider's web with dewdrops on it. Yeah, I think that's a spider's web there, just catching the light. I'm I'm a little bit croaky and husky this morning. My husband's got, he's been drippy nose and sore throat for the last 2 days. And I'm really hoping that he's not passing it on to me. So I've got tours lined up for the next week, and I don't want to be hampered by what he's experiencing right now. So fingers crossed for me, everybody. I have to up my vitamin C. And G4, 4G, yes. Isn't it wonderful, though, that we can travel to all parts of the world virtually through the technology and leg power of people in all parts of the world? Yes, it's just not normally quite so raspy. Let me show you these lovely ferns. Oh, let me first of all turn my battery back on. Just got a low battery signal. Where's the button? There it is. These lovely ferns growing in here. Hi, Mary Lou. It is a lovely walkway. Really lovely. In this area here, it just gets a bit swampy. Earlier this year, after the rain, that area was full of water, so it was like a small pond. And normally around about this time, we start to hear the cockatoos coming in. So expect some company as the day gets lighter. I'm well, Mary Lou. How are you going? Although I was explaining just a moment ago that my voice is a little raspy this morning, and my husband has a bit of a drippy nose, and I'm really hoping he's not sharing it with me. There's a whole pile of ducks on the grass over there. Let's go and join them, because we see our very first sculpture. There's a little sculpture walk along the path. These ducks might get a little bit upset with me walking in their general direction. Here's the first of the sculptures, and the sculptures are all based around new growth of native vegetation, and they depict the seeds mostly, and in one case it's the unfurling fern, because ferns, of course, regenerate from spores, not seeds. So this one here, this is the botanical name for this one, and it's the silky purple flag. And these were all installed in 2000, so they've weathered nicely over the ensuing 22 years. And I'll show you what a purple silky flag looks like. Some of you may recall that occasionally we have stumbled across this particular flower on some of our walks. In amongst the ducks here we have this little guy. It's purple swamp hen, and I think in New Zealand, do we have any New Zealanders on this morning? I think in New Zealand you call this one a pukeko. Is that right? With the flicking tail. They're very talkative this morning, these ducks, aren't they? I'm going to head over here. Who believes in the white feather theory? Hi, Carol. There we go. Of course, we get a lot of cockatoos around here, so seeing white feathers is not uncommon in this park. Coming through, guys. Coming through. The power. So all along the Blue Mountains, the Great Western Highway, we also have these markers, and it's to do with the surveying of the road. The first surveying was in, I think it was 18, let me think, I should have it on here somewhere, but I think it was 1815, I think. Anyway, I'm not real crash hot on some of these guys, but there's a lookout in Blackheath called Evans Lookout, which is named after this guy here. What does it say about him? I don't want his early life. Evans came back to Sydney 10 weeks after Blackson, Wentworth and Lawson. So he was part of the story of the opening up of the highway to the west. Listen to the kookaburra. There we go. Remarking of the first survey, 1813 to 1814. There we go. So that's who Greg Evans was. George Evans, rather. Greg Evans is a TV personality. You can tell it's early morning for me, and maybe my brain is a little fuddled from my husband's cold. I hope that's not a sign that I'm coming down with it as well. Hi, Anne. Hi, is it Kameli? And hi, Dana. So no, we're not getting a spectacular sunrise this morning. No beautiful coloured sky, but just a lot of atmosphere. That's okay. We'll get a second shot at it tomorrow morning when I do it from the beach. Hello from Israel. I feel like it must be a very unfriendly time in Israel. What time is it over there right now? The chatty ducks. Okay, let's go and find some more of these sculptures. Where in the world isn't it? Yeah. I think the country with the most civilized hour possibly right now would be New Zealand, where they're right in the middle of breakfast. 8 in the evening. Oh, that's not unsociable. That's a very decent time. I thought for some reason it was in the middle of the night. So here's our second sculpture, and this one is a grevillea flower, Grevillea acanthifolia. I'm not very good with the botanicals. My camera's rotating awkwardly. Hold on. There we go. Swamp grevillea. Okay, so again, just to recap, these sculptures depict the new growth, as in the seeds or unfurling of new growth of local native species, wildlife, vegetation. And I'm just trying to find for you. This is the swamp grevillea. Very pretty flower. And of course, we'll be keeping an eye out for all of these flowers as we walk along the path as well. For instance, this one here, not quite in flower yet, but this is a bottle brush. You can see the seeds back along the stem and the new flower, not just still in bud. This probably shows it better. Okay. This probably explains it a little better for you as well. It actually talks about the hanging swamp here, a swamp on a hillside. That's impossible. And there's a depiction of the structure. So we've got woodland, sandstone, claystone, hanging swamp, and below that the lake. So it talks about it's being arranged like a sponge cake with layers, allows hanging swamps to occur even in steep areas. Hope that was helpful. But it's a very effective filtration system. So ideally you don't want people adding fertilizers and pesticides and what have you on their gardens. But if they do, the hanging swamp is going to deal with those impurities as like a natural filter before those things reach the lake itself. Hi Neva, hi Elizabeth, and hi Carla. So there's obviously a little bit of colour up there in the sky. It's just hidden behind the trees. So we're getting these reflections on the lake now, the pinks starting to come through. Here's our third sculpture. And this one depicts the plant that we were literally just looking at, the callistemon, the common bottle brush, or the crimson bottle brush. And for anyone who doesn't know what a bottle brush looks like, this is what the flower looks like. Where are we? This one here. And I'm guessing that it's been utilised a lot overseas, and a lot of people possibly didn't. I know a friend of mine didn't even realise that this is an Australian wildflower. A friend of mine lives in Texas, and she was quite surprised when I said, "Oh, a bottle brush. Yep, Australian." She had no idea. And at the moment they are just passing their absolute prime of flowering. They've been used as street trees all along the highway where I live, and the centre of the highway through the median strip is just totally red. Absolutely stunning, the colours in the middle of the median strip all along the highway. That's quite pretty. Look at that. Wish I could get it without the wall. Let me see. I just found a patch of pink sky. Let's get to a spot without trees in the way. We can see that very gentle pink sky over there. Really soft and muted colours this morning, isn't it? And the mist is still gently lifting. And here is a little bottle brush right next to me. Look at this. With lots of little flying critters. Okay, here's the next sculpture on our walk. We're not going to see all of them today. There's, I think there's around 20 in total. So this one here is, let me see. Okay, so it's called the pouched coral fern. My camera's doing funny things. It wants to go sideways. And we've been actually walking past this fern all the way along as we go. No cockatoos this morning. And the magpies have obviously finished their song for today. They've left us. Oh, and just as I said that, I just heard a magpie. As if to say, hang on, I'm not finished with you yet. Everything is waking up indeed, Hillary. Now, I normally walk all the way along there on my tour, all the way along there and all the way along the edge of that path, all the way around to about this point over here. I must have been really dawdling this morning. So we're nowhere near where I'd normally end up. Here we go. Let me do this without the little placard in the way first of all. Here's our next sculpture. It's a shame the concrete path is surrounding this one, isn't it? And this one is the woolly tea tree, I think it is. Let me see. Yep, this is the woolly tea tree. So it's the seed of, let me find it for you. This one here. Yeah, Catherine, it's, well, in actual fact, we're in summer now. Let me show you this one. This is really pretty. And I actually think this might be the woolly tea tree itself. It looks almost exactly like the one in the photo I just posted, doesn't it? Let's see if I can get a little bit closer to that flower. There we go. Do you hear that? Ooh, ooh. Over on the other side of the lake. That is the Pacific Coel. and it's a migratory bird, and it's also a parasitic bird. And this time of year they turn up and they keep all of Sydney awake because they do that all night long. This is the season of people complaining about the Pacific koel. So what it does is it lays its eggs in another bird's nest, and when the chick hatches, which it does a few days before the what's the word I'm looking for? Before the proper birds, the host birds hatch, it pushes the eggs out of the nest. And then these birds like currawongs or magpies or even smaller birds are left to raise this enormous chick. So this is the next sculpture on our walk. And I don't think I have this one in my media. Let me see. Drumsticks. No, I don't think I have an image of that in my media. And they have just finished flowering throughout the mountains. So unfortunately I won't be able to show it to you. But I might be able to, if I can find the plant. It's a really nondescript plant. Hides amongst the showier vegetation. And here's another one. Good morning, CB. All right, what are you up there? Not sure what that bird is, and it's hard to tell because of the contrast. Oh, I think it might be an Indian myna, which is an introduced species. They're aggressive birds, quite territorial, and pose a threat to our native small birds. So this one here is the narrow-leaved peppermint, a type of eucalyptus. And the eucalyptus are starting to just come into flower in parts of the mountains as well. Now, where have I got that picture? I'm sure I have that one. Let me see, where is it? Ah, here we go. I'm looking for eucalyptus in flower around me, but none of these ones seem to be actually in flower just yet. And this one is probably the showiest of the sculptures on the trail and the most nondescript in real life. Oh, Australian tea tree is fabulous, has so many uses. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. All right, so let me show you what this one is because, well, first of all, let's enjoy it. Let's walk around it, have a look at it. And I'll get a shot again without the placard. Just move around this way. There we go, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's a lovely sculpture. No cockatoos at all this morning. And I'm prepared to line it up and frame it in this direction with the placard because I think it's just lovely. Let me see, between the grasses first of all, that's quite nice. And then we'll go over the other way. All right, so this is the seed of a grass. Who'd have thought, huh? Who'd have thought? So the actual seed in real life is only about 1 to 2 millimeters. So it's the common rush. Oh, don't do that. I want the camera. Yeah, this way. That's better. Alrighty. So what I think I'll do, rather than walking all the way around as I normally do, I'll take you just up to the dam wall, and I think we'll finish up over there. Gosh, I've been slow and just really meandering and taking my time this morning, haven't I? Oh, it is such a lovely walk, Mary Lou. It's very peaceful. Oh, nearly tripped. If you were a thoughtful meditator, I think this would be a lovely spot to do it. I confess I can't slow down long enough for a meditation. These ducks are so vocal this morning, aren't they? It's like they said yes. They're agreeing with me. I've changed my mind. I'm not even going to go over to the dam wall. I'm going to finish off around here. We're seeing all we need to, aren't we? All right, everyone. I hope I was able to bring you some serenity this morning. Look at this. Some peace and tranquility. I hope you were able to breathe with me this morning. The wind's just picking up now, starting to produce a ripple on the water surface. Thank you, Elaine. Alrighty, so I'm going to finish up here. I've already gone over time. Let me turn the camera around. All right, so did you enjoy that? I did. Thanks, Mary Lou. And I like to return here from time to time with you guys, just to remind us. I'm constantly on the lookout for new content and researching and driving and exploring and all of that. I need to remember to come back to the familiar places as well. Okay, for everyone who's starting their day, enjoy. For everyone who's finishing their day, good night and have a lovely evening. And I will see anyone who's able to join me later on today as we hop on the Dangar ferry. And that's a really pretty spot down there in the Hawkesbury River. So I hope you can come along to that. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day or evening, and I'll see you on another tour. Let's finish with this. Okay. Bye, everybody.